Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in front of us is the all-new 2023 Toyota Sequoia Limited with the TRD Offroad package, finished off in black. We'll also go over the MSRP once we get this out on the road, so we can go over all these new features and specs for the completely redesigned Sequoia. So we'll start off today's review with what powers this. The V8 is no longer. This is the new 3.5 liter twin turbo hybrid V6. It's paired to a brand new 10-speed automatic transmission with the hybrid electric system that has right around 184 horsepower and 48 pound-feet of torque. Combined with the engine, it's right around 437 horsepower, 583 pound-feet of torque, propelling this 6,100 pound SUV from 0 to 60 in the mid 5-second range. This also has a fuel capacity of 22.5 gallons. You'll expect to see around 19 miles per gallon in the city, 22 out on the highway. And this has a very cool new design. Let's talk about the exterior styling, because it has a very similar design to the latest Tundra model that came out before this. You can tell this is a hybrid as well because the blue ring and the Toyota badge, this has a forward-facing camera along with the forward-facing sensor for the adaptive cruise and all of that technology. Really nice dark gray trim for the slats in the grille, plenty of cutouts to provide a lot of cooling to that engine as well. This even has LED headlights. You'll see the turn signals are in the lower section there. Really nice design for that housing. There's plenty of cutouts too in the lower section where you'll see more parking sensors along with the LED fog lights, and then a lower air dam just to help provide better airflow and better aerodynamics. Really nice lines running down the hood too. From certain angles, you would almost mistake this for a Tundra. It has a very similar design to it. I even love these extra cutouts to provide more airflow. So a great looking front end in my opinion. Now for the TRD Offroad, this gets a set of 18-inch wheels with the 33-inch tires, two-tone design for that wheel. This even has the TRD tuned suspension. More of that gray trim that you saw on the grille is surrounding those fender flares. We have the massive tow mirrors. There's a camera underneath them, the turn signal, and then with a push of a button, you can actually extend these outwards. There's even a spotlight on them too. So if you are towing with your Sequoia, you already have the built-in tow mirrors. Now up top, this has a full sunroof, which is nice to see. There's chrome on the lower section of the windows. It's also on the door handles and the limited badge. It's interesting though, for the TRD Offroad, this has a set of fixed running boards. I think those should be eliminated for this model if you're taking this off-road with the crawl control and all of that. But the TRD Offroad badge is nicely placed just at the back section there. And then for the rear, this has the body colored spoiler, integrated third brake light. There's even the wiper blade in the lower section. Chrome is right in the middle of that power liftgate with the LED taillights on both sides. There's a backup camera with all these sensors, even more of that trim in the lower section. And then this has a towing capacity right around 9,000 pounds. Pretty respectable for the size and for this all new engine. Now, as we work our way to the cargo area, you can actually open up the glass just by pushing on that button. You can release that. So if you have some smaller items, you need quick access, you can easily do that. Now there's 3 different ways to open up the liftgate. You can use the button on the key fob, the one to the left of the backup camera, or simply just kick your foot up underneath. You will hear it beep, and now it will open up. So you have that hands-free option, which is great to see. Now the Sequoia is a 3-row vehicle, so with the 3rd row up, you still get a little bit of space. So you can put some items back here as needed. There's a 3-prong over on that right side, and then the controls for these automatic seats. So just by pushing once on those, it's a slow process, but it's nice that you don't have to do that by hand. They will go down. You'll see a little bit of a step even with them down. And if you need more room, you can slide those forwards, pull them back, just depending on what you need for room rise. But with them down, that gives you plenty of space, again, for the size. So it's nice that you have that versatility still. And then you can use your foot down below, or you can push this button here. The one on the right side will also lock the vehicle too. And as we move on to these back seats, the door panel has a great design to it. On this side, the sunshade is currently up. There's some brush trim accents for the release handle, along with underneath the grab handle, where there's also a little bit of storage, a lot of storage in the lower section there. And then let's work our way to the 3rd row. So it's very easy to do that. I can do this with one hand, almost one hand there, and that will fold up. We have our staircase to enter. We're at 5'10". I have a good amount of space. I have a lot of leg room. I can use this slider down below if I need to slide this up for whatever reason. but with it all the way back, plenty of room. There's also cup holders. You have an armrest, a little bit of storage. You can even recline these seats too. So it gives you a little bit more versatility. Now my head is just up against the headliner. So obviously this is more for smaller kids. If you're buying this and you're hauling a lot of kids around, you also have the sunshade and a USB-C, but it is doable. You can have 6 people back here. So it is a nice area as a people hauler. We can lock that back into place, pull it up, and now we have the second row with that side step and the grab handle. Very easy to get into the second row. Now there is a storage pocket behind both front seats, 2 cup holders in the middle, along with all the climate adjustments. So this is the third zone. There's a 3-prong outlet along with 2 USB-Cs if you need to use those. And with the armrest, you also get 2 cup holders, which is nice to have. And with the sunroof currently open, a lot of light, a lot of glass for your interior or for your passengers there. So it's nice to see that. Now the front door panel is very similar to the rear. There's memory seating adjustments, all of the window controls, side mirror adjustments. You have the control to be able to fold the mirrors and then extend them as well. A lot more storage space. And then we have these Softex leather seats with a cool design running down that insert. And it's just as easy to hop into this for the front seats. It's a big SUV, but it's not that hard to enter and exit, which is nice to see at the same time. Now with the red TRD button, we can fire this up and go through all this information for the all new digital gauge cluster. So I'm going to be using these controls on the left side, where you'll also notice Bluetooth and voice commands and volume as well. So currently it's showing distance till empty along with your eco meter there. You can look at some averages. If I scroll over, there's a compass. You can look at the audio as well as TPMS, look at your trip distance. You have some trailering settings that you can monitor as well. And then there's also different settings for the technology features. So this has the blind spot, the lane keeping assist, parking sensors. You can turn all of that on or off. You have some different trailer settings to go to, even vehicle settings, which is nice to see. And then there's any messages that you may have too. Now right in the middle, you'll see the tach along with the speedometer, and on that right side, there's the iForce along with the max. So you can see the current level for the hybrid system with the battery there. There's also the fuel gauge and the engine temperature and some other icons over on that left side. Now for the steering wheel, it's completely covered in solid and perforated leather. On this right side is all the cruise control settings. So there's the distance pacing along with the lane keeping assist, even mode and tuning for the audio, and some really nice trim pieces that accent the steering wheel. Now on this left side, there's a cargo light in the rear, so you can turn that on and off. There's the automatic headlights. You can pop the fuel cap release. There's even a dimmer switch for the gauges, trip odometer. You can turn on and off some of the safety features. We have the extension for those mirrors, so you can see just how much farther those go if you are towing. There's the spotlight on the mirrors that you can turn on and off, power outlets along with the heated steering wheel, and then another dimmer switch for the gauges. There's also one air vent. And then as we work our way to the massive 14-inch center infotainment system, you can get navigation for these models, which is nice to see. You have your music along with your phone. Under vehicle here, if we go to trip information, you can look at some of this information along with your history. And then if we go back to vehicle, you have vehicle alerts to manage any of those messages. The last one is settings. So you can go through all of this to set it up the way that you'd like to. Honestly, not a whole lot of information, but I love the size of the screen to go through all of that. Now underneath that, you'll see power and volume for the radio with this cool knob, and all these toggles will control the temperature along with the fan speed. You can go to the rear climates to easily adjust those, control where you'd like the air to go. And then underneath that, this has heated and ventilated seats. You'll see the heated side mirrors as well as some other recirc controls that you can quickly go into. And then there's a USB on that right side. Underneath that, this does have a locking rear diff. There's the hazards along with traction control. And then by pushing on this view icon, you can actually pull up this graphic here where you can see around the entire vehicle as it sits right now. So you can see the parking spaces that I'm currently in. If I push on this again, now you have a little bit different of an angle. So it's pretty cool. You can see around with this graphic. You can pause it if you need to look at a certain area, hit play again, and then it will keep going. And then you can obviously exit out of that. Also over underneath the engine start stop is the trailer braking system. This has the electronic parking brake along with the auto hold. And then for the leather shifter, if I put it into reverse, now you can see all of the rest of the different angles that you can go through. So this is pretty cool to see. If I go back to one here and then push on this, now we have the top-down view. There's also the different guidelines you can pull up. There's an auto as well. And then if I turn on basically the off-roading cameras, you'll see your pitch and roll right in the middle, along with a few different angles at the same time. So if you are taking your Sequoia off-road, pretty cool that you have basically the off-road settings that you can look at. Now with the shifter, I can go back into drive, put it into the manual settings so you can shift using that. If you're off-road or towing, it's very beneficial. There's a lot of storage space on this right side where you could place some phones if you need to. There's 2 cup holders that you can reveal by opening that up. And then behind the shifter, we have all of the 4-wheel drive selectors on this left side. And then the driving modes are right in the middle. So if I push on that, I can actually toggle between sport, normal, and eco. There's also the tow and haul. And then behind that, we have the crawl control and the multi-terrain select. So being the TRD Offroad, you have those different features. You do have to be in 4-wheel drive in order to activate those, as well as being able to activate the locking rear diff. So it's nice that you have that amount of technology if you are taking this off the pavement. Now for the center armrest, it has a unique design in it in the fact that you can actually reach in with it still closed. Now on each armrest, if I just push on either of those buttons, this will open up. You have a lot of storage, some auxiliaries, coin holders. You have a lot of space where you can place items, combined with the glove box where you can further put more information. And then with the entire sunroof open, you can see just how much lighting there is, how much visibility there is. Up in the top, you do have the operation for the liftgate to open and close that, along with the sunshade and the sunroof. There's dome lights on both sides, and then a sunglass holder, which is very convenient to have. And with another acceleration, very mild for today, but we're up to speed just like that. And without even hesitating, again, for the size, plenty of power for this. So getting a look from this angle, being behind the driver's seat for this $60,000, $80,000 SUV, it is so comfortable. I love how high this armrest is too. For my left arm there, it gives you a really comfortable seating position, especially with the armrest for the center area here. And it gives you enough, even with that cutout in the middle, to where you can comfortably drive this down the road. It's a pretty high SUV too, as you would expect. I believe it shares a similar platform with the Tundra, but it's super comfortable to drive. Definitely a daily driving type of SUV if you need the amount of space and the amount of room. And we'll get another angle with these side mirrors as we poke them out from this angle here. They definitely do a good job. I love the split design that they have. I'm a fan of that orientation rather than having them kind of up and down. I think this is a good design to give you that visibility that you need, especially with a trailer. Even without a trailer, it's very easy to see around. And yeah, this is definitely a cool redesign. Like I've already mentioned, I'm going to be driving the outgoing model. So if you want to see my better thoughts, because I haven't been behind the wheel of that one in quite some time, check out that video, because I'm sure there are a lot of differences that I will be going over for both of these models. But I think that is going to wrap it up for the all-new 2023 Toyota Sequoia Limited TRD Offroad. Once again, huge shout out to Carolina Auto Direct for providing this all-new SUV for me today. Check out their website, that link is down in the description. Give the video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and smash that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on our daily uploads, and I will see you all in the next video.